So Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier is right around the corner, and I'll start with this: that their first fight could have been anybody's fight. I think Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje had a bomb performance, but I would like to point this out, that, like I just said, they both had a bomb performance. And I think that that fight could have been Justin Gaethje's just as much as it could have been Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier just pulled out the fight. And I think that Dustin Poirier was a little bit more composed in that last fight. And I think that that is what ultimately caused Dustin Poirier to get that victory. Now, as of the last recent fights, I think that Justin Gaethje has been working on being a more composed fighter. And that's a very important thing to look at, people. Because Justin Gaethje's weakness, as we might all think, at least I think this, that his weakness was that he was not as composed of a fighter as he could have been. And now that he's been working on that, I think that he's a much more dangerous fighter, because he already has this mentality of being a head first, an aggressive fighter. He's a fighter that puts it all on the line. But if you draw it back a little bit and you take all the attributes that Justin Gaethje has, as far as having a chin, having power, he has good leg kicks, he has good wrestling, he has a very well-rounded base when it comes to being a mixed martial artist, I think that he has a great chance of not only winning this next fight against Dustin Poirier, which is still a tough fight. It's a very tough fight. But if he wins this, I think that we could very much so see him being in contention for the next title shot. And I think that he has a great chance of winning his next title shot. And I'm calling for him to be a champion in the very near future. And I think that this is Justin Gaethje's probably his last stitch effort of becoming champion. And so, with that being said, I think that there's a little bit of a fire under his butt. On top of him being a more composed fighter, him being a phenomenal fighter in his own right prior to him even making these adjustments to his fighting style, I think it makes him a very, very tough and a very much so top contender for the UFC strap. Now, how do I see this fight going? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it to Justin Gaethje. I think that these two gentlemen are going to end up being 1-1 by the end of this weekend. And it was a very tough decision for me to come up with when it came to this fight. Because Dustin Poirier, he's probably one of my favorite fighters in that division. However, I think that Justin Gaethje's adjustments towards his fighting style will probably edge him out as far as being the victor in this fight. And then moving forward to him fighting Islam possibly in the future, I think that that will be a very phenomenal fight in its own right. But I think that Justin Gaethje has made all the right moves to be an actual future champion. And so if I had to give my guess on this fight, I think that it will go pretty far. I think that it will go at least until the late third round. I really truly do. I think that these two are so evenly matched. They're so well rounded as mixed martial artists that the likelihood of them going into this fight and it ending extremely early is highly unlikely. It's a probability, but I don't think that probability is high, and I think that Justin Gaethje will be able to edge this fight out. Now, I think that Justin Gaethje, if I had to give more improvements to Justin Gaethje, I think that he should use more of his wrestling, as he is an elite wrestler in his own right. And I think if he was able to mix his wrestling in with his much improved striking, as far as being composed, as far as being able to pick his shots more intelligently and more patiently, I think that he's going to be able to edge this fight out. And I think that he's going to be able to use that to catapult him into title contention once again and get the strap. I think that Islam is a phenomenal champion. I think he's a very tough fighter to beat, but I think that he's shown weaknesses in his own right as well. And I think his weaknesses are that he can be a little bit chinny, people. Okay? I'm not saying that he's the most chinny of fighters. He's not, one of those guys that'll wobble within every strong and solid strike, but I do think that when it comes to Justin Gaethje's power, his newfound tactic of being more composed, I think that that's going to play a huge factor, and I think his wrestling is enough to be able to withstand Islam's march forward when it comes to wrestling. And so Justin Gaethje has a chip on his shoulder, because I do think that this is his last chance. As sad as it is to say, this is his last chance to being able to grasp being a champion. And with that, I think it's going to add an extra fire under his butt. And I think that I'm giving him a lot of momentum leading into his next fights. I think he has to get past Dustin Poirier, which is a big tree to get over. But if he gets past Dustin Poirier, who else does he need to fight in order to fight Islam? I don't see him really fighting anybody. I mean, there are other names in the mix. You have Charles Oliveira. You have Beneil Dariush. And I understand that those fighters exist. However, Justin Gaethje is the main source of being a contender when it comes to that division, especially after he beats Dustin Poirier, if he does get past Dustin Poirier. And like I said, Dustin Poirier is one of my favorite fighters in that division, but I would like to see a 1-for-1, and maybe they can fight again with Justin Gaethje being a champion. I think that would be a huge draw. 1-for-1, Justin Gaethje being champion after beating Islam. Dustin Poirier comes in and tries to unify his championship contention. And boom, the 155 division becomes huge for that very moment. But Justin Gaethje has to get this done. And if he doesn't get it done, then I think that his chances of getting championship contention in the future is going to be tough. Justin Gaethje has gotten close. Dustin Poirier has gotten close. They've both been interim champs, but that is not, and we all know, unification of being a champion. And I think that Justin Gaethje is in position to do that. And so comment down below what you guys think. Do you think Justin Gaethje has enough to beat Dustin Poirier? We will see. I think it's a 50-50 shot, to be honest, if you had to ask me. But I would give it to Justin Gaethje if I had to bet on it. We'll see. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that beautiful stuff, people. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Probably after this fight happens, I will definitely try to catch this fight. And so, I will see you guys in the next video.